What if I told you that most people are dying wrong? Here's the harsh truth: medicine is stuck in the past. We've gotten really good at saving people from fast death, gunshot wounds, heart attacks, infections. But we're terrible at preventing slow death. The chronic diseases that actually kill most of us: cancer, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's. These are the four horsemen that will likely end your life. And here's the kicker: they don't just appear overnight. These diseases take decades to develop, but we only treat them after diagnosis. It's like trying to catch falling eggs instead of stopping them from falling in the first place. This is why we need Medicine 3.0, a complete shift in how we think about health. Instead of waiting until you're sick, we prevent disease before it starts. Instead of treating everyone the same, we personalize medicine to you. Instead of just extending lifespan, we focus on health span. How well you live. Think about it. What's the point of living to 90 if the last 20 years are spent in decline? The goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live better for longer. We want to square the longevity curve. Stay healthy and vibrant until the very end. This requires a strategy, not just random tactics. Your strategy must address the three vectors of decline: cognitive decline, keeping your mind sharp; physical decline, maintaining strength, stamina, and mobility; emotional decline. Because what's the point of living longer if you're miserable? The tactics fall into four domains. Exercise, the most powerful longevity drug we have; nutrition, not about fad diets, but understanding your unique metabolism; sleep, the foundation that everything else builds on; and emotional health, often the most overlooked piece. Here's what's revolutionary: improving your health span automatically extends your lifespan. Build muscle, improve cardio, optimize sleep, and you dramatically reduce your risk of all chronic diseases. This isn't about perfection or living forever. It's about taking control of your aging process starting today. Because the best time to prevent disease isn't when you're diagnosed. It's right now while you're still healthy. Stop being a passenger in your own health journey. Become the captain of your ship. Your future self will thank you. Forget everything you think you know about living to 100. Scientists have been studying centenarians for decades, and the results will shock you. These superagers don't live longer because they eat kale and run marathons. In fact, many of them smoked, drank whiskey, and ate bacon daily. Richard Overton lived to 112 drinking bourbon and smoking cigars. Jean Calment, the oldest person ever at 122, smoked until she was 117. So what's their real secret? It's not their habits, it's their genes. Centenarians have a genetic superpower. They delay disease by 20 to 30 years. While most people get cancer by 72, centenarians don't get it until 100. Heart disease hits the average person at 75, but centenarians at 92. They live with compressed morbidity, sick for less time before death. But here's the kicker: most of us don't have these longevity genes. However, we can still hack our biology to mimic their effects. The key is understanding that aging isn't just about getting old. It's about metabolic dysfunction that starts decades before symptoms appear. Your liver could look like an alcoholic's even if you never drink. This is called fatty liver disease, and it affects 1 in 4 people globally. It's a warning sign that your metabolism is broken. Modern life has created a perfect storm: unlimited calories, minimal movement. Our ancient genes that helped us survive famines now work against us. Fructose, especially in liquid form, tricks our bodies into storing fat. We lost a key enzyme millions of years ago that other animals have. This made us better at surviving ice ages, but terrible at handling soda. The solution isn't waiting until you're diabetic to act. Medicine waits for disease, but we need to prevent it decades earlier. Watch your insulin levels, not just your weight. Skinny people can be metabolically sick, obese people can be healthy. The goal is to shift your health curve like centenarians do naturally. Delay disease onset, don't just extend disease duration. Start monitoring biomarkers now: insulin, liver enzymes, inflammation. Because the older you get, the healthier you need to have been. Your heart doesn't just suddenly fail. It's been planning your death for decades. Heart disease kills more people than cancer, yet we treat it like it's inevitable. Here's what doctors don't tell you about cardiovascular disease. The biggest myth? That cholesterol in your food causes heart attacks. Scientists knew this was wrong 50 years ago, but we kept blaming eggs anyway. The real villain isn't cholesterol, it's the particles that carry it. Think of your bloodstream like a highway with cargo trucks. LDL particles are like tiny delivery trucks carrying cholesterol. The problem isn't the cargo, it's when trucks get stuck in the arterial wall. These stuck particles become toxic and trigger your immune system. Your body sends cleanup crews called macrophages to fix the problem. But they get overwhelmed, blow up into foam cells, and create arterial plaques. This process starts in your teens, not your 60s. One-third of teenagers already have atherosclerotic damage in their arteries. By the time you have chest pain, you've had heart disease for decades. The scariest part? Half of all heart attacks happen before age 65. In men, one quarter happen before age 54. Standard medicine waits until you're sick to treat you. But heart disease prevention should start in your 30s, not your 70s. The key metric everyone ignores? APOB, the number of dangerous particles. Most doctors only check total cholesterol, which is basically useless. It's like judging traffic by the weight of cargo instead of counting vehicles. You want your APOB as low as possible, as early as possible. Some people need medications, others need diet changes. But the goal is the same. Eliminate the root cause before damage occurs. Here's the crazy part. If we all had the cholesterol levels of babies, heart disease would be so rare it would be considered an orphan disease. Instead of the #1 killer, it would barely make the top 10. The solution isn't waiting for symptoms. It's aggressive early prevention. Time is your enemy with heart disease, but it's also your greatest weapon. Start now because your arteries are already keeping score. Your genes haven't changed in 200 years, but your environment has completely transformed. And it's literally killing you. We're living in what scientists call diseases of civilization. Cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and dementia spreading alongside industrial progress. Our bodies evolved for scarcity, but now we're drowning in abundance. The solution? Stop treating exercise like a hobby and start treating it like the most powerful longevity drug ever discovered. Studies show that being unfit is more dangerous than smoking, carrying 4 times the risk of death compared to elite fitness levels. But here's the problem. Most people are exercising completely wrong for longevity. You need to think like a decathlete training for the centenarian decathlon. The physical tasks you want to do at 100 years old. Want to pick up your great-grandchild? You better be able to lift 50 pounds today because you'll lose 8 to 17% of strength each decade. There are 3 critical fitness dimensions you must train. First, Zone 2, cardio. That's where you can barely hold a conversation. This builds mitochondrial health and metabolic flexibility. Your mitochondria are like cellular engines. Healthy ones burn fat efficiently. Damaged ones leave you metabolically broken. Second, VO2 max training, your maximum oxygen capacity. This single number predicts how long you'll live better than almost anything else. If your VO2 max drops below 18 for men or 15 for women, you're losing your independence. Third, functional strength. Not just big muscles, but the ability to carry, pull, and move through life without injury. Grip strength alone predicts mortality risk. If you can't open a jar, you're in trouble. Most people enter their 70s and fall off a fitness cliff, losing muscle mass, bone density, and the ability to do what they love. But it doesn't have to be this way. The data is crystal clear. Exercise extends both lifespan and health span more powerfully than any drug we have. Start building your fitness reserve account now because unlike money, you can't make up for lost time in your 60s. Train like your life depends on it, because it literally does. The question isn't whether you have time to exercise, it's whether you want to be capable of living independently at 80. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Your foundation determines everything. And most people are building on quicksand. If you can't move properly, all the strength training in the world won't save you from injury. Think of your body like a race car. A 165 horsepower track car with perfect stability will outperform a 460 horsepower street car that can't corner safely. The #1 fitness commandment? First, do thyself no harm. Most sudden injuries aren't sudden at all. They're the tip of an iceberg hiding chronic weakness and instability. Here's the shocking truth. Most adults can't squat correctly without weight because we've forgotten how to move. Your 3-year-old has perfect movement patterns that you've lost to decades of sitting in chairs. Stability isn't about having strong abs, it's about safely transmitting force through your entire body. Without stability, that extra force has to go somewhere, and it usually destroys your joints and spine. Everything starts with your breath. How you breathe literally determines how you move and who you are. Your feet are your foundation, but most people have lost all connection to them thanks to thick-soled shoes. Think of your abdomen as a pressurized cylinder. Master this and you'll unlock true core stability. Most people are either hyperinflated chest breathers, compressed sad guys, or uncontrolled flexible types. Each breathing pattern requires different training approaches. One size definitely doesn't fit all. Your spine has three parts that need segmental control. Learn to feel each vertebra moving independently. Toe yoga sounds ridiculous, but your toes are crucial for every movement pattern and preventing falls. Balance on one leg with eyes closed. If you can't hold it for 10 seconds, your longevity is at risk. Stability training means slowing down to go faster. Perfect movement patterns over heavy weights every time. The goal isn't crushing every workout, it's moving correctly so you can keep moving for decades. Most injuries happen when people resort to their body's dangerous compensation patterns under load. Master the basics: breathing, foot positioning, spinal control, and force transmission through stable joints. Film yourself exercising. The gap between what you think you're doing and reality will shock you, right? Remember, better to work smart than work too hard, because injured athletes have lower quality of life for decades. Stability is your insurance policy against the injuries that sideline people permanently as they age. Your body is a chemistry lab, and most people are failing the experiment. Let me break down the three pillars that will determine whether you live to 100 or die at 60. First pillar: caloric restriction isn't just about eating less, it's about energy balance. Most Americans are overnourished but undermuscled. You have three tools: limit total calories, restrict specific foods, or control when you eat. But here's the kicker: protein is non-negotiable. Most people need double the recommended protein intake to maintain muscle mass as they age. Second pillar: sleep is your brain's janitor service. Every night, your brain literally washes out toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. It creates insulin resistance equivalent to being diabetic. 7 to 8 hours isn't optional, it's survival. One night of bad sleep equals being legally drunk in terms of performance. Third pillar: your emotional health determines everything else. You can have perfect labs and optimal fitness, but if you're emotionally broken, none of it matters. Trauma doesn't just hurt your feelings, it rewires your nervous system. Chronic stress literally ages your cells faster than smoking. The solution isn't just therapy, it's building emotional regulation skills daily. Most people think nutrition is about good foods versus bad foods. Wrong. It's about matching your intake to your individual metabolism. Use continuous glucose monitoring to see how your body actually responds to food. Your glucose spikes after meals predict your disease risk decades later. Sleep and stress directly impact your blood sugar the next day. Everything is connected. Your emotions affect your metabolism. Your metabolism affects your sleep. Medicine 2.0 treats diseases after they happen. Medicine 3.0 prevents them before symptoms appear. Start tracking your biomarkers now, not when you're already sick. The goal isn't just to live longer, it's to be healthy while you're doing it. Your health span matters more than your lifespan. Most people spend the last decade of life in decline. But with the right strategy, you can maintain vitality until the very end. Stop optimizing for short-term comfort and start optimizing for long-term vitality. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today.